So hello and welcome everyone to this tutorial session. In this video, we are going to understand what are jump statements and how we can use them in Python. So we start off this video by discussing what are jump statements. Then we will discuss three different types of jump statements. So out of these three, first is the break statement, second is the continue statement, and third is the pass statement. So in this video, we will discuss this syntax and some examples of using all these type of jump statements. So without any further delay, let's jump on to our first topic and understand what are jump statements. So in our previous video, we understood how we can use the looping statements in Python. Now, when we start using looping statements, we might come across various situations where we need to exit the loop. Now, we need to exit the loop based upon certain condition. So in such cases, jump statements help us to bypass the loop and move to the next execution. Basically, the role of a jump statement is to change the flow of a loop, such as skipping a section or terminating it. Now in Python, there are three different type of jump statements that we generally utilize. So out of these three, first is the break statement. Now the role of a break statement is to terminate the loop execution, and it will also shift the control of the execution outside of the loop. Now to understand the working of this break statement, we can look at this workflow diagram. So basically when we start executing a loop, so in the loop first we need to evaluate certain condition or expression. Now if that condition is true, now based on that we can utilize break statement. Now what will happen when the break statement is triggered? So if the break statement is triggered, it will simply end the loop and the execution will goes outside of the loop. If the break statement is not triggered, then it will continue executing the loop. Now one thing here which is important to understand is, so we basically utilize break statement within the body of the for loop, and we need to use the break statement based on certain condition. Now if the condition is satisfied, or we can say if the condition turns out to be true, then the break statement will be executed and the loop will be terminated. But if the condition turns out to be false, then the loop will continue its execution. So let us understand this thing with the help of an example. So here you can see one simple example of break statement. So for this example, what we are doing, we are first taking string input from the user and we are storing it in the str underscore message variable. After this, we are using the for loop to iterate through this string variable. So we are using this statement for I in str underscore message. Now within the body of this for loop, what we are doing, first we are using if else block. So within the if block, we are checking whether the character is capital G or not. If the character is capital G, then the break statement will be executed. And if the character is not G, then it will simply print that single character from the string. And in the last, we are using this print function to print this string program end, so that we get to know whenever program is ending. So let me execute this cell. Now here I have to pass one string value. So here I have simply put Python guides as my input and I will hit enter. Now here you can see, so what happened when I pass Python guide as my input. So loop basically has gone through each character. So initially P was there, then Y was there, then T, H, O, N. And when G was encountered, then the break statement was executed. And when this break statement was executed, the program execution comes out of this for loop and this print statement was printed. So this is how basically the break statement is working in this small program. Now let's move to a next topic, and next let's discuss about the continue statement. Now continue statement is little different from the break statement. So what was happening in the break statement? Whenever the break statement was encountered, the loop was terminated. But what is happening in this continue statement? Now, whenever a continue statement will be triggered in our loop, it will not completely terminate the loop. It will only terminate the current iteration. So basically all the code which is after the continue statement will be terminated and it will shift the control of the execution to the next iteration of the loop. For better understanding, we can see this workflow of continue statement. So just like break statement, we use the continue statement within the body of the loop, and once this statement is triggered based on certain condition, we can say it will terminate the code given in the current iteration and it will directly shift to the next iteration of the loop. Now to use this statement, we simply need to use the continue keyword. just like we were using break keyword for break statement. Now let us discuss one example related to continue statement. Now we have made slight changes in our previous program. What we have done, first we are taking simple string input from the user and we are storing it in this str underscore message variable. After this, we are using the for loop to iterate through each character given in the string. Now here we have changed the condition. So in the previous example, we were checking whether the character is capital G. This time we are checking whether the character is minus or not. So if minus is encountered within the given string, then the continue statement will be counted. So basically from the string, this minus keyword will be skipped and all other characters will be printed out. And in the last, we are using this backslash n to print a new line. And in the last, this program ends statement will be printed out so that we get to know whenever our program is basically ending. So let me execute this cell. Now here I will simply pass Python. Now I will put minus here and guides after that. Now if I hit enter, here you can see the minus character is skipped and all other characters were printed out, and after this execution our program was ended. Now we can use both of these statements, break as well as continue, as in while loop as well. We will discuss about those examples further in this tutorial series, but now let's move to our next topic and let us understand about the pass statement now. Now this pass statement is very different from both break and continue statement. So in Python, the pass statement is simply a null statement which does not perform any task. And we can consider this pass statement as a placeholder which is mostly utilized in classes, functions, or we can even utilize them in conditional statements. Now the result of this pass statement is simply a no operation. It simply means this statement is not going to perform any operation. Now we can also consider the pass statement just like comments in Python, but there is a slight difference between both of them. Basically, comments in Python are ignored by the interpreter, but this pass statement is executed. It is not ignored. But the main task of this pass statement is just like a placeholder. So to maintain the execution flow of our program, we basically utilize pass statement. Now let us discuss one example related to it. So here you can see the simple example. First we are taking a string input from the user and then we are simply using a for loop to iterate through each character. But this time within the for loop, we are simply using this pass statement. So similar to how we were executing the break statement using the break keyword, then we were executing the continue statement using the continue keyword. So the pass statement will simply be executed using the pass keyword. Now after the pass keyword, outside this loop, we are simply use a print function to print this program end string so that we get to know when our program is ended. Whenever we will execute this program, we will only get this output given in the this string given in the print function. Other than this, no output will be returned. So even if I pass something in this, let me pass Python guides and hit enter, see, nothing has been returned. Now we can say the main use of this pass statement is to transfer the control between different block of statements. So here we are using this pass keyword to pass the control of execution to the next statement, which is this print statement, and this print statement was printed out. And this is something how we basically use them with functions and classes. So for a function, here we are defining a function using this def keyword. Now the name of this function is product and we are simply using pass keyword in it. In the same fashion, we have defined a class using the class keyword, and the class name of this class is animal, and we are using the pass statement in the same fashion how we were using in our previous examples. So with this, we have come to the end of this tutorial session. In the next video, we will discuss about some string operations. So thank you for watching. We will see you in the next one.